And we're kicking off this list with Orihime's brother Sora. This happens very early on in the series, and it really showed the level of emotional impact that parts of this story had to offer. Sora had died in a car accident, and what kept his soul pure was Orihime praying to him every night before she went to bed. But when time began to heal her wounds and she started turning her attention towards her friends, Sora felt abandoned and angry, leading to his spirit becoming hollified. After hollification, Sora tried to bring Orihime with him to the spirit world before attempting to just consume her soul. The fact that this loving older sibling not only left his younger sister alone in the world, but then became so corrupted by hollification, becoming this angry spirit full of loneliness and pain, is just heartbreaking. He was harming the one person in the world that he cared about the most. Things do work out in the end when Orihime embraces him and explains why she started telling him about the, good things in her life and that how things were looking up, in an attempt to let him know that she was okay, and Sora is able to finally pass on peacefully. But definitely a pretty bumpy transition into the afterlife, to say the least. If you're liking this channel so far, then please hit that subscribe button. You got nothing to lose, and we want to hit that 100,000 subscriber mark, so hey, why not, right? Charlotte's fate at the hands of Yumichika. These two fought beautifully, but in the end, Yumichika got the upper hand and not only won the fight, but also proved he was more beautiful than his opponent. I don't know though, I think Charlotte still has him beat, especially with his incredible outfit after releasing his resurrection. Charlotte seemed to have the upper hand when he used Rosa Blanca to encase the two in a thorny bush that cut them off from the outside world, masking their Ryatsu. But this would actually be the worst mistake Charlotte could have made, because now it gave Yumichika the chance to use the true power of his Zanpakuto. Being that his Zanpakuto is actually Kido based, he had to hide it from his other Squad 11 members, but now he could spread his wings and soar and use that special ability to trap Charlotte and a series of vines that slowly began sucking out his Ryatsu before using his own energy against him and finishing him off. Charlotte died unable to move, completely hidden from the outside world, which he actually kind of appreciated. It made the loss a lot less embarrassing for him, but this would still be a pretty painful way to go. Kenpachi Soya Azashiro. What a life this guy had. Soya grew up in a time where the Soul Society was far more brutal than it was during Ichigo's time. Soya's entire family was wrongly accused for crimes that they had nothing to do with, and were all sentenced to death, having to battle hollows in a pit, all gladiator style. Soya and his sister were the last ones alive, and just when the kid thought he'd have at least one family member left alive, his sister ended up sacrificing herself to save him from one last hollow. So that's all pretty bad. He lost his entire family all at once, but then, despite being told that any survivors would be allowed to live, the nobles decided, you know what, let's just finish him off anyway, and decided they wanted to send several more hollows into the pit for him to battle all alone. At this point, his Zanpakuto's spirit awakened though, destroying all the nobles and allowing Soya to escape. He later went on to become a Shinigami, but yeah, I mean, what a childhood. Giriko takes the next spot on the list. There are a lot of gruesome, drawn-out fates in Bleach, but this one is quite the opposite, but it's making the list just for the sheer embarrassment alone. There's nothing worse than someone who comes off like an egotistical, arrogant prick, and nothing more satisfying than watching said person get humbled, and that's exactly what happened when Giriko hulked out before going up against Kenpachi, who basically just one-shotted him, slicing the big green dude in half before he even knew what hit him. Giriko was enraged that Kenpachi didn't take him seriously, but it turned out to be completely warranted. Giriko should have asked to switch opponents as well. Imagine spending the final moments of your life being utterly confused and embarrassed that someone less than half your size just cut you in half before you can even throw an attack. And they didn't even like break a sweat while they were doing it. Yikes. Next up is Yamamoto's Bankai. So we have a lot of specific fates on the list, but let's talk a bit about this thing in general. Meeting your end at Yamamoto's hands would be an absolute nightmare. The only thing keeping this one lower on the list is how quick this is. At the very least, you don't really have to suffer much. Imagine watching as this guy releases his Zanpakuto and then the entire area around you becomes so unimaginably hot that you can barely breathe. Everything starts burning up and turning into dust. There's just no moisture in the air anymore, and then, if you're lucky, he just cuts you with his blade burning so hot that you're just erased from existence entirely. If you're unlucky though, you may watch as he summons all the dead warriors that have fallen at the hands of his powerful flames, knowing full well that you're about to become one of them.